Badland Hunters is directed by Hyo Myung-hang, and I probably mispronounced that, I'm sorry. And it stars Mae Dong-seok, I probably also mispronounced that, I'm sorry. After a major earthquake, Seoul, South Korea transforms into an apocalyptic wasteland where everything from the civilization to law and order has collapsed. I've been a fan of Mae Dong-seok ever since I've seen him in Train to Busan, which is the best zombie movie of all time in my opinion, and he played one of my favorite characters from that movie for sure, and so I was pretty excited to see what he would bring to this movie, and I will definitely say that he is easily, if not the best part of this movie. I think he just brings the most energy and the most vibrance and the most humor to this movie too. And he is a bad ASS in almost everything he does here. And I'll admit, in this movie, there are some very good action sequences. One that takes place in a basement, look out for it. That was actually really cool, and the way they utilize some of the camera and the way they film the scene, it's very creative. I mean, it's been done before, but it's still creative, and it kind of reminded me of John Wick 4 since it's like almost a one take, and that was definitely the most entertaining fight in the movie. And the action sequences in general keep me from heavily disliking this movie. However, I can't necessarily say that it's good. Like, it just didn't do it for me. The atmosphere has a very Mad Max vibe to it, and I enjoyed that, but I also feel like they didn't utilize that enough. A lot of the sequences took place indoors versus as Mad Max, like I said, they had so many action sequences in the sand and everything, and it just looked so beautiful. The color correction there was insane. The color correction here, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as Mad Max, obviously, and if you compare it to something like Blade Runner 2049, get out of here. But if you talk about, like, good color correction, I do think it is pretty good, but they don't utilize it enough, and they don't utilize the wasteland and the desert and everything to their advantage, in my opinion. Also, the story wasn't interesting enough to get my attention. It's about like a kidnapping, kind of, and these teenagers being abducted, something like that, but I saw the movie on February 4th, 2024, and it's hard for me to remember a lot of what happened because the story was too bland. It's like a mad doctor abducting these teenagers to turn them into like superhumans, and to us, from our perspective, basically zombies, and the zombies in this movie they're okay, but they aren't that threatening. You don't feel scared of them, and it didn't feel threatening to me. And the villains did not feel threatening at all. Like the Mad Doctor, yeah, he was a villain, but like you do not feel scared of him at all. Even when our heroes get caught trying to sneak in, do something, and he catches them, you don't feel anything. Also, outside of Mae Dong-seok, like I said, most of the performances feel pretty awkward, and some of the lines, just the delivery was pretty cringe, and it didn't feel like all of the actors were actually into the story here, and I don't know. I mean, I didn't even watch the movie dubbed. I watched it with subtitles, and so I got to see their actual performances, and I don't know, it just felt pretty awkward in the delivery. I just feel like by the end of this movie, I felt like I was completing a marathon, like getting to the finish line. Like I said, the movie isn't bad. There are redeeming elements, but by the time I finished the movie, I was happy it was over. I was like, oh my god, that was exhausting. And it can be exhausting. Movies can be exhausting sometimes when the movie's very heavy emotionally, something like Schindler's List or Mystic River. But for something like this, it was just like I was not interested in anything happening. So by the time the film was over, I was like, yay, I'm done. I can continue. I can watch There Will Be Blood, because that was the movie I watched after this. That was a big improvement. I might review that sometime soon. Sorry, I got a little carried away there, but Badland Hunters gets 2.5 stars. Since spring break just started, I'm going to be on vacation for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to try to film some videos there, but it'll be hard. So there may not be as many videos as I have been doing these past 2 days. But that's basically it for this video. I'll see you soon. Peace.